watch my videos, innit? It's not a fucking comedy! Welcome to my Thor review. This review is about the movie Thor the Dark World. No, I'm not talking like that. I'm not talking like that. I'm just playing. I'm fucking about. Alright. Welcome to my Thor review. Thor the Dark World. Marvel. Finally! You're back! Thor 2 was pretty awesome. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it managed to get rid of the bad taste that was Iron Man 3 out of your mouth.
And you'll never see me coming.
Frankly, we didn't want to see you coming at all, Trevor, mate. Anyway, Thor the Dark World, they got the characters pretty much spot on. Loki and Thor's relationship was just perfect. Hemsworth and Hiddleston play off each other so well. You can actually feel their history from the Avengers and the first Thor film. These two characters might actually have the best writing in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my opinion. I mean, just look at the brilliant scene in the Avengers when they're talking on the mountaintop, just before they're being interrupted by Tony Stark. It was epic. The way they were talking, the way they were interacting. In Thor 2, there was a scene that I loved where Loki was being held prisoner, and he made an illusion to fool the visitors, his prison visitors, into thinking that he wasn't fazed by being held captive and just parading around in his usual confident, cocky demeanour. But it turns out that once he lifted the illusion, he was actually in a terrible state from being imprisoned, and he was grieving his mother's death quite badly. This was such an excellent characterization of Loki, and it showed a great growth in his character, showing some of that vulnerability that made him such a sympathetic villain in the first movie. Absolutely loved that scene. Thor, on the other hand, was standing strong and seemingly unfazed by this dire turn of events. So I think it's safe to assume that it wasn't just Frigga's death that made Loki that way. In the comics, Frigga is Thor's stepmother, not his real mother but his stepmother. But I'm not sure if that is translated into the movieverse as well. In the movie, Loki seems a lot more upset than Thor does, and it is actually one of my criticisms I have about the film. Even though Frigga's death was well respected and well done by Alan Taylor, with an epic Game of Thrones-esque funeral to do. I mean, just look. Even though it had that epicness with that awesome Asgardian funeral, I felt after this, the characters just kind of brushed off her death, which kind of took me out a little bit. But I suppose it was made up for by Thor just literally bursting when he saw his mumsy getting stabbed and pulled off some pretty awesome hammer play with his lightning intact. You're not human if you did not get chills at that part. It was pretty sick. Thor just comes in and starts going, "Who are you?" He starts chucking his hammer at Malekith, starts going mad, like, "Whose mum do you think you're killing, blood?" Just comes in. Jane and Thor's relationship was a lot better this time around, and Jane had a lot more to do, especially at the end. In Pepper Potts fashion, she helped kick the crap out of the main bad guy at the end. Marvel's really playing up this whole strong woman thing. I wonder if at the end of Captain America 2, Peggy Carter's going to rise from her grave and Hadouken or some shit, the Winter Soldier at the end. Or more likely, Black Widow will be his new love interest and she'll finish off the antagonist. That's actually a bit more believable. But jokes aside, unlike Pepper going all last action hero at the end of Iron Man 3, I don't know if you saw what I did there, you know, Shane Black, last action hero, anyway. Unlike Pepper going all last action hero at the end of Iron Man 3, even though all we've seen her be is a little office girl, at least Jane used her known intelligence as a physicist to do some science shit to help fuck up Malekith. I kind of found it funny how as soon as Jane arrived into Asgard, everything just kind of like fucked up. Thor loses his mum, all of the Asgardian prisoners are released, Asgard gets pretty much arse raped. Thor should have just listened to his dad when he said, "Take her home, she does not belong here." Thor doesn't even want to be king anymore by the end of the film. Odin, who's actually Loki in disguise, plays on his love for Jane to be the reasoning. Thor turns it around to Loki, as most of us lads do when we shirk our responsibilities for a chick. Thor really needs to listen to a bit of... Sif, played by Jamie Alexander, is another major love interest of Thor in the comics, but it's only ever so slightly played upon here in the film. And she even gives some funny evils to Jane.
It ain't over, bitch.
I don't even know why it started, bitch.
'Cause you always in my way.
I'm only in your way when it comes to
Thor.
That's what this is all about.
No, it's about you. White girls like you. Creeping up, taking off.
Asgardians. But that's about the extent of that love triangle there. I don't know if that will be expanded upon in the sequel or something. Hopefully it will be, if she's not Wonder Woman, or she'll probably be doing both, but yeah. Anyway, Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 don't really do too much in the film, but you do notice them kind of just keeping themselves busy in the background. I'm sure after multiple views you will actually understand and see what they're doing. Mostly they're just used as distractions. But F all that, this is Thor, not Thor, Lady Sif and Warriors 3 anyway, so no complaints there really. Good job, Marvel, good job. The supporting cast were just kind of there to make jokes and be comic relief basically, especially Ian, Darcy's lame love interest. I cannot believe I remember his name. Honestly though, he was so forgettable. Selvig was funnier than both Darcy and Ian put together. I really don't want to talk about them anymore. All the comedy bits they did should have been given to Thor. I mean, should have been given to Sif and the Warriors 3. They're the ones who should have had those parts. Darcy and Ian should be dead. They should be dead. They shouldn't even be in it anymore. Anyway, before I get carried away. Malekith was pretty weak. His whole motivation was to make the world dark again. I must bring darkness back to the universe. If you fucking like darkness so much, turn off the fucking light in your fucking boring ship, you boring fuck, and just sit in there in your little dark ship. I want to make the world dark again. But it wasn't terrible. I mean, he did what he needed to do, and Eccleston played him well. But Eccleston wasn't really given much material to work with, to be honest. Loki was a better villain in this film, and he was playing a damn anti-hero. But Malekith is still miles better than Killian and post-twist Mandarin Trevor Slattery in Iron Man 3 any day of the week. Doesn't that really say something about Iron Man 3 though? Anyway, a little more development and a better explained or thought out motivation for Malekith, and he would have been so much better. He needed more lines and he needed more scenes. Also, it didn't help that he got his ass handed to him by Thor's mummy. The story was pretty damn confusing. I'm not even going to bother trying to explain that one. You could basically see what they were going for a little bit, but it was either bad writing or I'm just fucking dumb, but I couldn't follow it completely. There were some minor plot holes, but the basic underlining of the story and the set pieces was good. It had some very nice twists and turns, such as Frigga's death and Thor and Loki's plan. But my god, how epic would it have been if Loki actually did all that hand cutting off shit and Thor had to find some kind of magic or spell or something to bring his hand back. It was a pretty fucking dark scene. But yeah, it was all an illusion and a trick to, you know, fool the audience, Malekith. But in the end, I didn't mind trading probably what would have been one of the darkest epic Marvel scenes for Loki faking his death or coming back from the dead. Yet again. And tricking his brother yet again at the end of the film, as Okdi or Lokdin or whatever did. Yeah. I love how the film took place in mostly Asgard and in London. It stops all the shit-eating crybabies from saying, "Where are all the Avengers? Why isn't Hulk there? Where's Iron Man and stuff? Where's Captain America?" Though Captain America does make an awesome cameo in a hilarious scene where Loki took his form to tease Thor. That scene alone probably made the entire film for me. Without that scene, I probably would like this film a whole lot less. It's actually kind of scary how Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, was one of the most natural I've ever seen him in this universe. I think the dude should really stick to playing comedic characters because he fucking killed as Captain Loki. That was such a good scene. I want to just go back just to watch that scene again. And it was also such a character moment for Loki as well. It really did solidify him as the god of mischief, if anyone even had any doubts. This film also does a good job of explaining how Loki got in and out of Asgard in the first Thor, when Heimdall would lose sight of him, using those portals through worlds caused by alignment of the universe, or whatever the plot thing was, or whatever. But yeah. My biggest gripe about this, and every other Marvel film in Phase 2 so far, is the comedy and the campiness. Though the darkness balances out the comedy very well in Thor the Dark World, in Iron Man 3, for example, the overdone comedy was even worse than the Mandarin twist. The twist might not have been so bad if it was taken seriously, similar to the Dark Knight Rises twist with Talia. Also, after watching, and then immediately stopping watching the TV show Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., seeing the unfunny comedy bits in Thor the Dark World, and the shitty shit Shane Pierce crap that was Iron Man 3, it's getting to the point where I'm fearing, worrying, and absolutely dreading what Marvel has in store for us in Avengers Age of Ultron. The cinematic universe isn't Meet the Fockers or Dumb and Dumber. I don't want to ask people, how did you find Thor 2? How did you find Iron Man 3? And the first word that comes out of their mouth is, oh, it was hilarious! Iron Man Thor 2 was one of the funniest films I've ever seen. I was laughing, my sides were splitting. It's not a fucking comedy! The first word that should come out of your mouth should be, the film was fucking epic. That's what you should be saying. Epic. Not hilarious. The film was hilarious. I found it so funny. I love the way, like, that little girl was cracking all these kind of jokes and stuff. Fuck that shit. It's supposed to be fucking action, drama, superhero shit, not cracking jokes. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. That's for another video. The action was pretty good, almost Man of Steel-like. In the last fight, though, I can't help but feel, after 3 films featuring the God of Thunder, Thor, one of the top 5 strongest characters in the entire Marvel Universe, yet they have not depicted just how strong this motherfucker really is. The hammer play was good, they got real creative with it, his fight with Curse was brutal for what they could get away with, but still, I want to see Thor pull off some incredible feats, some more flying or something, do something. But overall, apart from the little comedy cuts in between Away to Darcy and action scenes, the effects and the action was top notch. The fight with Curse and Malekith made up for the subpar final battle in the first Thor movie. Heimdall also had a bit more to do in this. His taking down of one of the Elvish ships was a pretty epic scene. Until it was ruined pretty much to the point that he kind of did all that for nothing, because here comes 15 fucking more ships. Fuck! Like, that was kind of a waste, but it was still a good scene, though. It was still a good scene. The after-credit scene with the Collector, Lady Sif and company hints to Guardians of the Galaxy, or Thor 3, I'm not 100% sure. It was a mysterious MacGuffin given to the Collector. And there are 5 of these MacGuffins. I'm guessing one of them is going to be the Infinity Gauntlet. But, yeah, I don't really know what else is going on there. Apart from the Collector looking as camp as Marvel's comedic writers must be, there's really not much I can talk about, or that I really care about right now anyway. To wrap it up, all in all, Thor the Dark World was a fun watch. It fit the Marvel Cinematic Universe very well. It didn't disappoint. Thor as a character has grown a lot since the first film, and it's great to see his and Loki's development as the Marvel films progress. Asgard was beautiful and looked a lot more real and lived in this time around, thanks to Alan Game of Thrones Taylor. I enjoyed it, probably a little more than I should have after getting so badly burnt by Iron Man 3. I give this film an 8 out of 10. And that, my darlings, brings me to the end of my review. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Please rate, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. And until next time, true believers, DoubleO88, over and out.